Good morning, everyone. This week's Torah portion has the remarkable story of the first shidduch, the first arranged marriage in the Torah, when Abraham sends his servant Eliezer to find a bride for his son Isaac. And the story goes that he arrives at the well in Haran, and he prays to God, and he says, God, help me find the right girl for my master's son. And he makes an arrangement, a sign with God. He says, the girl that comes to the well to draw water, I will approach her and ask her for some water as a stranger visiting in town. And she says, yes, I will draw water for you. And also, in addition, for your camels. That is the girl that is destined to marry Isaac. And sure enough, the first girl he approaches at the well is Rivka. He says, can I have some water from your pitcher? And she said, of course, and I will also draw water for your camels. And he then and there realizes that God has arranged the shidduch, the wife, the marriage for Isaac. And the obvious lesson from the story is that the most important criteria and quality we should look for in a spouse is chesed, kindness. But what kind of kindness? And here we have a very powerful lesson. You see, when someone approaches you for help, it takes effort, it takes humility, it takes vulnerability to tell someone, I need some help. It's not always easy or comfortable. And therefore, when someone opens up to you and says, I need some help, we should try to think, what else do they need that they're not telling us about? Once they have begun a conversation with us and have made themselves vulnerable to us, we have to think beyond what they're requesting. Maybe they really need more, but they're just ashamed or embarrassed to ask for more. And that's exactly what Rebecca does. Eliezer says, I just need some water for myself. And she says, I'm also going to give your camels, because I know your camels need water as well. And the first lesson of chesed, is kindness, is always try to think, what more can I do? What more does this person need that they're not even saying? There's a famous story about a woman who comes to a rabbi back in Eastern Europe and says, Rabbi, it's Passover's approaching. I have a question in Jewish law. The question is, I can't afford to buy wine for the Passover Seder for the 4 cups, but we do own a cow on the farm, and the cow produces milk. Can I substitute 4 cups of wine with 4 cups of milk? And the rabbi says, no, unfortunately you cannot. You need wine, but I'm going to help you. And the rabbi takes out 1,000 ruble and gives it to her and says, go buy wine for your Passover Seder. When the woman leaves, the wife of the rabbi says, my dear husband, a bottle of wine, 2 bottles of wine, it costs 20 ruble, 30 ruble. Why did you give her 1,000 ruble to buy wine? And the rabbi says, my dear wife, don't you understand? If she doesn't have wine for the Seder, and she wants to use milk instead, clearly she has no meat or chicken, because you can't eat milk and meat together. And if she has no wine and no meat or chicken, I'm sure she has no fish for her Seder plate. And if she has none of that, I'm sure she has no matzah. And therefore, what she really is saying is, I need money to make Passover in my home for my whole family. So I didn't just give her money for wine. I gave her money for an entire Passover Seder, because that's what she's really asking for. That's what she really needs. True kindness is to think and see beyond what is being requested. Perhaps there's even a higher level of kindness. You see, today is the 20th day of Cheshvan. It's the 4th Yahrzeit, passing day, of Rabbi Johnathan Sachs. Rabbi Johnathan Sachs passed away in 2020 at the young age of 72. He was a giant of a scholar, of a teacher of Torah, a lecturer. He inspired the world with his rabbinic leadership and his great orator skills and talents and profound insights into Torah. Perhaps tens of thousands of people on a weekly basis study his Torah, even now 4 years after he passed away. And he tells the story. He was Lord Johnathan Sachs. He was obviously the chief rabbi of Great Britain. And he tells the story that as a young student at Cambridge, he came to the Lubavitcher Rebbe at 770 Eastern Parkway for an audience, and he had lots of philosophical questions about life, about religion, about God. And suddenly the Rebbe turned the conversation to him and started asking him questions. And he said, tell me about the Jewish population at Cambridge, how many students are there, and what are you doing to help inspire Jewish students on college. And he started to say, well, Rabbi, in the situation I find myself in, and the Rabbi cut him off and said, a Jew doesn't find himself in a situation or a circumstance. They put themselves in a situation or a circumstance. And then when he went on to ask the Rebbe which career should he choose, he was debating, should he become a professor, learn philosophy and become a professor of philosophy at Cambridge, or he was thinking, should I become an economist, study economy, or should I become a lawyer, study law? And he said, I can't decide. Should I become a professor of philosophy, an economist, or a lawyer? And the Rebbe said, none of the above. You should become a teacher of Torah. You should become a rabbi. And not only should you become a rabbi, you should ordain other rabbis. But in order for you to ordain other rabbis, you first have to study Torah and become a rabbi yourself. And he took the Rebbe's advice to heart. And the next year he left Cambridge, went to Israel to study at Kfar Chabad, and became one of the most renowned rabbis of our generation. And perhaps that story teaches us the ultimate lesson. Sometimes someone asks for one thing, but they really need more than that. But sometimes they don't even know themselves what they want and what they need. They think they want to become an economist or a lawyer or maybe a professor of philosophy. And you see their potential like the Rebbe saw his potential and said, no. What you really want, what you really need, what really will help you fulfill your destiny and reach your greatest potential is becoming a rabbi. And he set him on that course. And today the Jewish world is immeasurably blessed and benefits from that encounter that the Rebbe had with Rabbi Sachs at 770 when he was a young student at Cambridge. The ultimate kindness is when someone doesn't even know what they need or what they want or what is in their best interest, but you see their potential and you inspire them to go above and beyond what they could even imagine and realize their fullest potential. Today on the Yahrzeit of Rabbi Sachs, let's learn some Torah from him. It's easy to find it. It's on the internet. Lectures, books that he wrote, articles that he wrote, and carry on his legacy and continue to be, like he was, a teacher of Torah to our fellow Jews. Have a wonderful day.